And first of all, I have to thank ISOC for giving me this opportunity on behalf of APNIC to present to you about IPv6 delegations, deployments, and trends. And also a big thank for PTA for organizing last night's dinner, which was wonderful, and thanks to all of you for the hospitality and friendliness that you have shown to us. Okay, to the topic. So in this set of slides, I will explain to you from RIR's perspective about the delegations and the measurements that APNIC takes of the internet regarding IPv6, and also some trends related to global level, and also drill down to South Asian level, as well as a little bit about Pakistan. So first of all, if you look at the big picture, the world population is about 7.3 billion at the moment. And according to this Internet Live Stats website, the internet penetration is only 3.5 thereabouts billion. So which means there's a huge gap to fill, even if you take out the kids and the babies. So if you look at the internet users by region, the yellow color is the Asia region, with India and China big populous countries in the region. So it is not a big surprise that almost half of the internet users are coming from Asia. And if you look at the numbers, this is the top 5 internet user countries in the world. And on this top 15, we have 5 countries from Asia. And at the top, you have China, India, and Japan on the 5th place, Philippines and Indonesia as well. But if you look at China, the penetration of internet users is still 52%, and in India it's even lower, it's 34%. Only Japan has a formidable, a respectable figure, around 90%. So the gap is huge, and all these users, or all the people who are not having internet at the moment, are willing to get internet, and we have to cater for that demand somehow. And then the question is, IPv4 is simply not enough. And if you look at that light blue color line, that is a state of IPv4 pool at APNIC. It's less than 50% at the moment. So that means only about few millions of IP addresses left to fill out the gap. So how do we do that? The answer is, of course, IPv6. And in terms of IPv6 deployment, we are talking about 4 key aspects, and the state of address delegations, and if these addresses are routed, and if the content are ready for IPv6, and if the users have the devices which are capable with IPv6. From delegation perspective, I think you have already seen this graph. This is the IPv6 delegations for the last 10 years we have done at APNIC, and you can see in 2010, I think I explained this on the first day as well, there's a jump in 2010 when the RIR announced that IPv4 will be depleted in short time, like few years, and there was a lot of members applying for IPv6 at that time. And then there was a huge surge of membership growth in the East Asia region, and then that impacted this huge surge in 2016. As well as, if you are aware of it, APNIC ran out of its recycled pool or the recovered pool, and for anybody who's getting the second/22 now have to wait on a queue. So this is more initiatives, or you are running out of options with IPv4 at the moment, and you have to get IPv6. If you look at the routing tables, and this is a trend, for IPv4, the stats are taken from 1989, and for IPv6, it's from 2004. So if you look at the growth, it looks similar because for IPv4, it's taken from 86, but if you expand it for 2004, you will see that IPv6 trend is quite steeper than IPv4 trend. At the moment, we have about 645,000 entries for v4, and 34,000, around 35,000 for IPv6 as of January 2017. This slide was presented 2 years back, in a SANOG event in Sri Lanka. And at that time, according to Google stats, it was 5.87 people who were accessing Google servers or Google services were accessing it through IPv6. And after once again, in this slide, you can see from year 2011, every year the IPv6 uptake has been doubled. From 2011 for 2012, you can see it's doubled, and from 2012 to 2013, again it has doubled, likewise. And 2 years later, on the same month of January, you can see it's reached almost 16%, which is nearly threefold increment from 2 years back. So the trend is there. People are adopting to V6. And this is another interesting graph. This shows how useful, if you have a smartphone with IPv6 capability, how useful it is in accessing content over the internet. And you can see in January 2012, there was a spike. So question to you, do you know what happened in that period? Anybody who can answer that? I'm sure ISOC knows that, so they are not eligible to answer. So, okay, that was the IPv6 launch day when Facebook, Google, and big content providers enabled their contents to be available on V6. So that is why there you see a big jump from the previous years. And so big players have already taken up IPv6. The small growth after that you see is the medium players one by one catching up with IPv6. So hopefully your organizations will someday take up IPv6 and the graph should go up. Okay, now I'm going to present about IPv6 from APNIC labs, which we can authoritatively say what we have captured. So how we capture IPv6 stats or any measurement in the internet is through Google advertisements. So for example, if you are watching a YouTube on your laptop or computer, you can see sometimes an advertisement pops up and you want to close it down. So similarly, APNIC has its own ad, thank you for helping measure the internet. So it might come on a side or in the middle of a video. So you don't have to click it, and it's only collecting simple amount of information related to origin A's economy categorized and test DNSSEC IPv6 likewise. So if you see the advertisement, you don't have to click it. Just appearing it there, it's just going to collect information. And it's better not to click it because it's going to cost APNIC. So no need to click that one. So from the stats we have collected through advertisements, we can see at the moment world IPv6 capability is about 8.63. And in the regions, America is leading and Europe followed by Oceania, and Asia is at the 4th place. So just to explain what is IPv6 capable and preferred, if anybody does not know about that, preferred is if you have the two options to connect to some place, IPv4 and V6 both available, you prefer to connect over V6. And capable means you have the both options. That's it. You are not preferring to get connected on V6. So always capable figure is higher and the preferred figure is always lower. So from regions, if we drill down to country level, the average world figure is in the middle, and you can see about 4 countries over the average in the Asia region: Japan, India, Australia, and Myanmar. And at the bottom, you can see few more countries from our region just appearing on the graph. So all the other countries are not even appearing on this graph. So as you can see in the previous slide, that's the reason why Asia is at the 4th place, even if we have so much users connected to the internet. So Belgium is the highest IPv6 capable country in the world, so I thought I should add the slide in respect of them. So their IPv6 capability is around 55 at the moment, and the world's largest economy, it's about 35%. And from our region, the highest is Japan, about 17%. And Japan is facing a stiff competition from India recently, and we'll get into that soon. And then Malaysia has also a good uptake of IPv6. Let's look at South Asia. First, we'll talk about the distribution, and these are the total number of members of APNIC in South Asia. So, for example, India has nearly 500 direct members, and Pakistan has 68 members. Bangladesh has about nearly 350. And in blue color is the number of accounts of APNIC which have IPv6 resources in them. And in Pakistan, you can see, because I'm in Pakistan, I'll emphasis on that. So out of 68, only about half of them has taken V6. So if you are under the impression that you have to get evaluated again to get these resources, or if you have to pay any extra money for that, that's not the case. So I'll explain. If you already have been evaluated to get IPv4 resources, you are eligible to get IPv6 without any evaluation. And for example, if you have assignment, you are automatically qualified to get an assignment of V6 as well. And for that, you don't have to pay any extra fees. And if you have an allocation of IPv4, you will get a /32 of allocation without any evaluation of IPv6. So to make it easier, if you have access to My APNIC, there's an easy link to get IPv6. You just have to click it, and within 2 minutes, the resources will be in your account. So it's a good opportunity for you to test, even if you are not ready to deploy the resources. Get the IPv6 and start subnetting, get familiar with it. So that's a start. If you look at the capability of economies in South Asia, the light blue line is for India and the yellow line is for Bhutan. So at the moment, India is leading, followed by Sri Lanka and Bhutan. So the reason for this spike in India, we'll come to that later, is due to one single player. So let's see who it is. And if you look at the figures, these are the IPv6 capability in the countries of Asia. So India followed by Sri Lanka, Bhutan, then Afghanistan, likewise. And the overall capability is about 10% in the region. And the most successful country, let's take a look at it in a little bit more detail. This is India's growth. So until late 2015, there was absolutely literally no V6 over there, just spikes here and there. And then after end of 2015, they started deploying resources, and by now they have reached a formidable level at the moment. Can you guess what's the reason behind that? Have you read about that? Okay. So it's due to one of the key players in India, that is Reliance. They have started deploying resources of IPv6 since late last year. Sorry, I can't see the figures. Yeah, so until 2015, they did not have any deployments. The spikes could be any testing done by them. And at that time, they were the 5th largest player in India, and by end of 2016, they jumped to number 1. And their AS number 55867 shows 75% capability in IPv6, which is very good even compared to AS numbers coming from USA or Japan. So they are the single player who made India's figures good. So this is Pakistan, and we can see one AS number, but unfortunately it is from Google, which has IPv6 capability. But rest of it looks not that good. And if you look at the largest player, Pakistan Telecom, those are the players who should switch to IPv6 so that it makes an impact to the country. So this is what it looks like, and it's good to see Higher Education Commission has taken some initiatives, and that is where it should start, so people can learn about it, test, and this is a good trend. So hopefully this keeps up, and the Pakistan's IPv6 stats will come up. This graph shows, this is taken from APNIC Lab's WIS-AS. This shows the peering between AS numbers, IPv4 versus IPv6. And as you can see in the middle, I think I explained this a little bit on the last time. And what you see in the middle are the big organizations such as TWA or PTCL. And on the border, you see multi-home small networks. And you can see, obviously, V4 is much denser than V6. And this is not end-user connectivity. This is only peering between AS numbers. So IPv6 capability is a different figure, and this is a different graph about routing only. And if you are interested, there's a very good case study for T-Mobile USA. You can search this on the internet and read more details about it. This shows what they have done before they have deployed V6. So it's not a 1 or 2 day thing to switch to V6. If you can see, they have started, they have done a 9 months feasibility study even before they started a friendly trial. And after that, they deployed their V6 resources commercially in 2013, end of 2013. And this graph shows exactly on October 2013, their IPv6 stats started going up. And at the moment, they are sitting at 75%. So observations-wise, all the graphs are showing IPv6 is growing rapidly and steadily. It varies among regions and economies. And then the question to ask is, what are you doing about it? Where is your organization or your region or your country in terms of IPv6 deployment? As Donald said, there are no excuses not to deploy V6 now. And lots of information are available. I will show you now. So from APNIC side, apart from registering IPv6 resources and delegating them, we have a good training program. So this is a good place to start. It has very basic level information as well as workshops. So you can go to this website and look for IPv6 related courses and get to know more about V6 if you are not familiar. And every Wednesday there's a workshop, e-learning course happening, and you can join it live and you can ask questions on the chat and get answers. Or you can watch lots of YouTube videos are there in the internet as well, done by APNIC training team. Also look for workshops which are happening near you. For example, the workshop that is happening in 2 days' time is also, tomorrow, is also listed in the website. Likewise, there will be other workshops listed on this website, up to 6 months calendar. And another assistance that we are doing is a technical assistance. So if your organization is almost ready to deploy the resources, or if you have any other questions, we can arrange our training team to come to your organization and then help you with your own problems. If you don't want to discuss it with everybody else, you can invite APNIC team to come there and help you with the problems on your own, privately. And then we have a very good resource on our IPv6 page. There are success stories, V6 for mobile networks. So likewise, you can go to this page and check. There's a huge amount of information. And finally, it's always good to go to events like Apricot or APNIC conferences, where you can meet with other people who have deployed the resources, who have had problems and who have solved them. So if you have any questions, you can contact APNIC and we can get you in touch with people who have already deployed resources. For example, there's Sunny Yung from Telstra, who has enormous knowledge about V6 deployment, and we can get you in touch with him if you're interested to know from an industry expert. And that's it from me. If you have any questions,
Hello, Žorž here. Thank you for a very nice overview. I don't have a question. I have just a remark or add-on. And you mentioned the T-Mobile USA IPv6 deployment. Lately, I spoke with Cameron Byrne, my dear friend. He's the guy behind this implementation. And I asked him, how many devices do you have on your network on IPv6 only? And he said over 50 million devices, mobile devices, are on IPv6 only on T-Mobile network. So if other people did not deploy IPv6 yet, then this means that traffic from these devices goes through a Net64 translation device that is lowering the user experience. And if some people does crazy stuff with, I don't know, publishing Code A records without having the connectivity, then these 50 million people do not have the access to their content. So I can't say anymore that it's time to deploy IPv6. We are already late, people. Thank you.
Yeah, also that's an American case, so you might think it is not related to you, but if you look at the India case, you'll find more information about it coming soon because it's just happened. So those are kind of similar economies, and still there's no excuse. Because India has deployed, then why can't it happen in here?
Okay, my name is Shamsula from Afghanistan. I have two questions. Why does it take too long for the companies to deploy IP version 4.6? And what will happen with the old devices that does not support IP version 6? And beside this increased space, what are the other benefits this IP version 6 has? Thank you.
It's difficult to say why companies are not deploying. They are sometimes saying their customers are not ready, and sometimes they say the upstream is not transiting IPv6. So it's difficult to give a straightforward answer to that one. But if
I think we could take that one in the panel, actually.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that. We can discuss it in the panel. Question at the back.
I'm Amanatullah, and I have two questions. Number one is that how you are collecting the data which you have shown in your graphs. Are these from the network operators or to the other departments which network operators are offering IPv6? And second one is thanks to HEC, they have IPv6 deployment and they have provided to us the pools. Fortunately, we have IPv6 devices ready, and I have deployed it, and I have no issue of IPv4, and each and every device is capable of IPv6, and how can we register ourselves, or we can be part of that IPv6, and mainly the question is that how can we register or register ourselves that we have IPv6 deployment there.
So the first question is how to get that data for yourself, or so that okay, yeah, it's an open web page. If you can put the slides on the screen. Yeah, so these slides are taken from labs.apnic.net. And if you go there, you can find a link to IPv6, and you can expand this graph to 4. If you want to dig in, you can see 2 years' time. And if you want to look at a longer trend, you can adjust that, and you can smoothen the graph by selecting average of 10 days. Similarly, you can have multiple views of the same data. Is that what you are asking?
Data is only about the operators or the individuals. For example, I am having a data center and I have a IPv6 deployment, but you are counting the network operator which has provided me the IPv6 or the individual who are hosting services at their data centers.
So if you have an AS number, you can dig into your AS number level and check that connectivity also. The data also, yeah. So all the AS numbers in a country are listed on the website, and you can click that AS number, and you can get the traffic over the years for that AS number as well. Not only for telcos. I'm just taking this example to show because it's probably make more sense to everybody. And the second question was, sorry, I didn't get that. So if you can repeat that.
So the second is already answered in the first question.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I think we need to move on, but we can maybe take some questions in the panel. Otherwise, Pubudu will be around you the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'll be here until tomorrow evening, and if somebody wants to get IPv6, I can show you.
Okay, thank you very much.